Hello students, today we will discuss the mechanism of stomatal transpiration. If you remember, then in our previous class I taught you that transpiration can occur with the help of stomata, then that is called as the stomatal transpiration. Now these stomatas are present at the lower epidermis of the leaf, and that day we saw the structure of leaf also, that it consists of the cuticle, then epidermis, then inner layer endodermis, then lower epidermis, and the lower side of this epidermis contains stoma. Okay, now how this process occurs? The leaf cells consist of mesophyll cells, which are spongy parenchymatous cells. Now these spongy parenchymatous cells contains large number of air vacuoles. Okay, and these vacuoles are surrounded by the layer of water. Now when the air escapes in the atmosphere, then it takes the water in the form of water vapor and then escape, and then it come out through the stomata. So this is all about the stomatal transpiration. Now today we will see how this stomata gets open and closed. See, the opening of the stomata as well as the closing of the stomata, that is, opening occurs in the daytime. Okay, now what happens during the day? The guard cells, now this I am going to draw, these two are guard cells. Okay, I have already taught you, these are the bean shaped structure, that is guard cells. Now this O is stoma. So what to write? This is the stoma and this is again the stoma. Now see children, these are the guard cells. Now the inner wall of the guard cells are thicker. So what we can write? This is thicker inner wall of guard cell, and the outer wall is thin. So we can write down the thinner outer wall. Okay, thinner outer wall of guard cell. Same here, this is the thinner outer wall and this is the thicker inner wall. Now these are the epidermal cells. So what to write? These are epidermal cells. Now see what happens during the daytime. During the daytime, there will be endoosmosis. That is, the water that is present in the epidermal cells, they all will move in. So the water from the epidermal cells. Now why the water from the epidermal cells will move inside? Because the guard cells, they are containing chlorophyll and they are synthesizing the food, and food should be in the dissolved form. Just to dissolve that mineral, the water will definitely move inside. We all know that food particles must be in the soluble condition. Okay, so what will happen? Just to dissolve during the daytime, what happens? Photosynthesis occurs. If there is a photosynthesis, then there will be the chloroplast, and the chloroplast will contain the chlorophyll. There will be the process of photosynthesis, trapping of the sunlight and everything. Now what happens? The food will be prepared and the food will change into some other form. Okay, it will be dissolved. Now for the dissolution, this guard cell will need water, and what it will do? It will absorb the water by the process of endoosmosis, and once the water will move in, the cells will become turgid. That is, our guard cells, they will swell up. You can imagine, if we take a balloon and if we fill that balloon with water, then what will happen? The balloon will swell up. The same condition will be here also. As soon as the water will move in, the guard cells, they will become turgid, they will swell up. And if they will swell up, then they will, that is from the inner side will move apart and the stoma will get open. Okay, now the stoma is open, and this is the condition during the daytime when we can say that the stomata is open and transpiration is taking place. Okay, now this type of guard cells are now called as turgid guard cells. I am writing here. Why they are called as the turgid guard cells? Because these guard cells have absorbed water, and simply they swelled up. Now in the next condition, what happens when there is no photosynthesis, there is no light, that is in the dark condition? These guard cells, they will become flaccid. Okay, how they will become flaccid? Because when there is nothing to dissolve, then at that time the water is present inside, it will move out. Or we can say that there will be exo osmosis, because everything has to counterbalance each other. If during the daytime the water has entered in, then during the night time it has to move out so that the structure may remain balanced. So what happens? During the night time there will be exo osmosis, and because of the exo osmosis the water will move out, and if the water will move out, then the guard cells, they will become flaccid. Okay, and the stoma, that will close together. So this regulates the opening and closing of stomata, that is turgidity. Turgidity regulates opening and closing of stomata. Okay, turgidity as well as the opposite of that is flaccidity. Now see what has happened till now. During the daytime there is an endosmosis, and because of endosmosis the water that is present in the epidermal cells, they all have moved in and the guard cells have swelled up, and because of that swelling there is an opening of the stomata. Now during the night time what will happen? There will be exo-osmosis, water will come out again into the epidermal cells and the guard cells will become flaccid, and because of that the stomata will get closed. Clear? So this is the one point by which we can see the opening as well as the closing of the stomata. Now the second theory for opening and closing of the stomata is Potassium Ion Exchange theory. Oh, I must not erase this. Okay. So the second one is the Potassium Ion Exchange theory. Now we will see that. Now see, the second is Potassium Ion Exchange theory. Now see what happens in this case. Once again I have drawn this guard cell along with the epidermal cells, that is stomata. Now see what happens. During the daytime, after the process of photosynthesis, the starch is formed. Okay. Now this starch is converted into malic acid. Number one point, that is the starch present here. Suppose this I am drawing as a starch. Okay. Now this starch present here gets converted into malic acid. Point number one. What is the second step? This malic acid dissociates and releases H plus ions plus malate ions. Okay. Now see what happens. Suppose this is starch, get converted into malic acid. Suppose this is malic acid. This will get converted into malate ion plus it will release H plus ion. Okay, everything is taking place in the presence of sunlight because the plant has absorbed the photon, that is the sunlight, and in the presence of the sunlight the whole process is taking place because everything needs energy and there is a breaking down of the starch molecule, so it requires energy. So with the help of that sunlight, that is in the presence of the sunlight, starch will get converted into malic acid and malic acid will get converted into malate ion plus H plus ion. Now, inside the epidermal cells, there is some minerals or some ions, and the ions are called as K plus ions. Okay. Now see what happens. Inside there is excess amount of H plus ions. H plus. After the breaking down of the malate, that is malic acid. Now there will be exchange, okay, by the process of the endoosmosis and high concentration that we have already read. That is, because of the high concentration, the K plus ions will move in. They will move in and H plus ions will move out. So this is our next step. Now see, what has happened here till now? K plus ions moves out and, H plus ions moves out and K plus ions moves in. Okay. Now, this K plus will combine with malate ion and it will form potassium malate. So, our next step is K plus ion combines with malate ion and form potassium malate. Now children, this potassium malate will absorb water. Okay, what it will do? It will absorb water because now it is highly concentrated, so it will absorb water. And how it will absorb water? Again the water is present in the epidermal cells, so there will be the endoosmosis and water will be absorbed inside. And if the water will absorb, then guard cells will become turgid and the stomata will get open. Okay. Now, see what has happened till now. Once again, I am just giving you starch that is prepared, get converted into malic acid. Malic acid dissociates into malate ion as well as the H plus ions. Now, K plus, which is already present in the epidermal cells, they will move in, and H plus ions, they will move out. This is called as potassium ion exchange. Okay. So, potassium will move in, it will exchange its place and H plus ion will move out. Now, after moving in, potassium will combine with malate ion and it will form potassium malate. Now, this potassium malate is highly concentrated. It will reduce the water potential. It will absorb the water, what is there inside the guard cell, and after absorption, the more water will be required, and because of that, the epidermal cells, they will give the water by the process of endoosmosis, and the guard cells will become turgid. They will swell up, and hence there is an opening. Now, during the night time, when nothing is required, no starch, all the starch has been already get converted into the malic acid as well as the potassium malate ion. Now, nothing is there. Okay, reversal will be there. Okay, everything will get reversed. Now, what happens during the time? Night time, K plus ion that is already formed with malate ion, it will again remove from there and K plus will move out. As the K plus will move out, H plus will move in, once again malic acid, once again starch, everything will form, and K plus ion will move and it will cause the flaccidity of the guard cell. So now this is called as flaccid guard cells, and it causes closing of the stomata. Okay, so this is all about the theory that is responsible for the opening as well as the closing of the stomata. Now, next type of transpiration is cuticular transpiration and lenticular transpiration. Now, this is not in your course, but actually we should know. Cuticle means the waxy coating of the leaf. Okay, we all know that if this is the leaf structure, epidermis of the leaf, then it consists of a thick waxy coating. Okay, and this thick waxy coating is called as the cuticle. Now, there are pores. If the water gets evaporated or if the transpiration is taking place through this cuticle, then this is called as the cuticular transpiration. The next is lenticular transpiration, and lenticular transpiration occurs through the lenticels. Now, where are these lenticels found? These are found in the bark of wooden piece of a tree. Okay, that is the highly tightly wooden structure. It consists of the cells. These cells are called as the lenticels, and if the water gets evaporated, if the transpiration is taking place through these woody stem, then it is called as the lenticular transpiration. Now everything is over. Our next topic will be advantage and disadvantage of transpiration. Okay, till then you write this, children, and revise. Thank you.